you and all of your players just talked about being better than the team last year. What are the things, one or two things, that have led you guys to being better at this stage of the season?
I think it's a combination of things. The tough way that those kids, the feeling they went through on that field that night when Auburn knocked us out, and we were so close to moving on to the next round. And they have one more year invested in it. That's 3 years now in our system. These kids have worked their rear ends off for 4 years now. In that weight room, they've gotten bigger, they've gotten stronger. We've really pushed them hard, our coaching staff has. And when you have a lot invested in something, then you certainly, it hurts to not have success in it. That feeling a lot of times helps to drive teams to come closer together. And those are really the things that we talk to them about. You come closer together when your teammate may not have his best day. Well, you pick him up, you get him motivated, and these guys have really done a great job of that.
That's great. If you look at your returning starters, you have 9 starters returning on defense, only 4 on offense, which would kind of lead the bystander to think your defense is going to be a lot better than your offense. What do you see for the season for that?
Oh, I wish we could slow them down at practice. They do a great job offensively. Our kids, in spots, we're going to have some kids that make some youthful mistakes, maybe some inexperience. But anytime we think we have 2 wide receivers with Division I potential, with Will Young and Chris Knowles, have some young receivers that we really, really like. Of course, Ito is everybody's one of the top running backs in the state of Alabama, and I wouldn't trade him for anyone. Spencer Ruggs is another guy who is going to, you'll hear his name a lot this year, has really done great things at running back. Our offensive line, there's not the massive guy that we had last year. We had a couple of very, very big guys, but they're one of the more athletic offensive lines that we've had the opportunity to coach. So, so that offense is really, I didn't even talk about the quarterback, but, Harry Satterwhite, Trip Cobb, those guys are very heady players. They're gamers and make good decisions. They distribute the ball well. So, we just think that we may have more weapons available offensively. Was the question an offense or defensive question?
That's a good answer. That was a good answer.
Got lost there.
That's okay. I can understand. You got a good football team, good football program. I've covered McGill several times last year. You have a lot of knowledgeable, enthusiastic fans sitting in the stadium. What are those fans going to notice different this year than last year, particularly in the offensive side of the football?
I would say we're going to have to be more efficient on offense, and we go back all the time and show our guys some situations where we may not have put ourselves in the best situation on first down or second down, and Jason could kind of bail us out a little bit on third down, make a play with his feet or those kind of things. Our fallback run seemed to be Q draw last year. That will not be our fallback run this year. Not taking nothing away from Harry. Harry can run the ball fine, does a good job. But, we have to operate within our system more. We can't put ourselves in 1st and 14s and 2nd and 12s. We've got to go out and move the chains. But, our offensive guys have really done a good job of that so far.
Great. You gave us a list of some of your players, not all of your players, and the colleges recruiting them. And I'm just, for the people that might be listening, it's a very impressive list. I mean, Duke's on here, Georgia Tech, Army, Navy, Louisiana Lafayette, Troy, Old Dominion, Southern Miss. I mentioned Old Dominion because I graduated from there. So, but this is to me is very impressive. This big, broad list of colleges. What's led to that? I mean, McGill-Toolen's a private school, but what's led to this big interest in McGill from all these schools?
I think the fact that we have some very good players that also have very good academics. And college recruiters, the perception out there is those guys are all keeping secrets from one another, and the Alabama recruiter would never tell the Auburn recruiter or the Duke recruiter tell the Georgia Tech recruiter where they see a player. I think the opposite is true. I think all those guys end up in Mobile, Alabama, You know, they go out and have dinner together because they're old buddies from college days or something. And, you know, and once word spreads in the coaching ranks that, you know, that not only do you have some very good athletes, but you have very good athletes who are also very good students, everybody's going to stick their nose in there and see about those kids. We had 4 signed Division I last year. We think that number could possibly double. You know, there's going to be some 1AA guys in there maybe, but you know, those kids, again, we've talked about it since their 10th grade year, take care of your academics. This is the first senior class that we've kind of have our handprint on them from day one. So, you know, so I think that's helped.
Well, that's great. And finally, Coach, I'm going to give you a softball for the last question. We heard from the players. Coach and staff motivated by the last game of the year from last year?
You know, I tell people all the time, you know, and I don't mean this arrogantly, but I've never coached in a game where I didn't expect to win, and I think our staff is that same way. You know, they're guys that there's no external pressure. All the pressure's in our coaching office. You know, we want to win. We want to compete. We want to graduate great student athletes. So the pressure and those kind of things, you know, it certainly wounds you to see the kids that you become so close to, the pain that they went through with that loss. But, you know, Auburn was a great program, and Tim Carter and his guys do a great job. Someone had to lose the game. There was going to be a very disappointing outcome for someone. Just kind of the luck of the draw. So, you know, does it a little bit? Maybe. But at the end of the day, I think it's just about being a competitor.
Thanks a bunch, Coach. We look forward to the football season.